Hello everybody, and welcome to my GoFundMe page. My name is Samantha Costa and I have Lyme disease. I thought I would take this opportunity to tell you all the story of how I got sick and what I've been through the past almost 5 years. I was bit in 2013 and I didn't develop a bullseye rash. I watched very closely, but it didn't show up. So I didn't think that I had Lyme disease. And from that point on, anything that, any kind of symptoms that appeared, I explained as stress related or migraine related. I've always had migraines, so I just kept thinking that whatever was going on was normal. I was traveling all over the world. I was in school working on my PhD. I was working, I was moving. So I just, figured that it was just normal stress or normal pains. And then in 2014, I got the opportunity to go to Peru. I love to travel, and I contracted Giardia while I was there. But that went undiagnosed for a year. So I had Lyme disease undiagnosed for 2 years at this point, and then Giardia undiagnosed for a year. So it wasn't until February of 2016, after switching doctors and seeing specialists, that I finally got tested again for parasites, and they found the Giardia and they treated it with antibiotics. But that didn't seem to help, so they tried antiparasitics and they told me to wait a while and to give my body a chance to heal. So I gave my body time to heal, and months later I still didn't feel very well. My primary care physician at this time did order a Lyme disease test called the Lyme 2-tier with reflex testing, and that came back negative. And they ordered it again about 6 months later to see if it had developed, and that came back negative as well. And they kept running all these other tests on me, trying to figure out what was going on. The most that they could come up with was I had high blood pressure and chronic migraines and, neck pain and joint pain and inflammation. But, they just didn't really have a good answer for it. And I just kept being bounced around from doctor to doctor to doctor until I saw a GI specialist last fall of 2017, and he diagnosed me with 2 bacterial pathogens and a fungal overgrowth in my gut. We decided to treat that with all natural antibiotics or bacteria killing plant-based supplements, because we didn't want to kill any good bacteria in my gut. I was very hopeful at this time that I was going to get better. I started developing neurological symptoms that were pretty severe. Loss of cognitive function, loss of using my fingers and my hands, loss of vision was a big one, vertigo, very bad vertigo, and I started getting really scared. I didn't know what was going on, and I tried to push myself and work 3 days in a row, which I hadn't done in a long time because of how much pain I've been in, and my body just shut down while I was at work, and it was really embarrassing, and it was really a wake-up call for me, to really understand that something is very wrong. I'm a 33-year-old person, and I shouldn't be breaking down physically because of working a few days in a row. I was really hopeful that the bacteria was the problem, but shortly after starting the protocol, I realized that I was getting worse and it wasn't helping. I did the whole protocol, but I also made an appointment with a Lyme disease specialist, finally convinced by my chiropractor that Lyme disease is very hard to diagnose and that you really need to see a specialist. So I went to see the specialist, and after 5 weeks of waiting for the test results, I learned that I did in fact have Lyme disease, and I also have 2 co-infections. They're called Bartonella and Anaplasmosis. They're blood parasites. So the tricky thing with, one of the many tricky things with Lyme disease is getting the diagnosis, because it shuts down your body's ability to fight the disease, the bacteria, and so you don't develop antibodies, and that's what the testing is usually looking for. So getting this news has, changed my life. It brings everything into a much sharper focus. I understand now why no matter what I did, no matter how many supplemental regimens I went on or elimination diets I went on or healers I visited, no matter what I tried at home between yoga, meditation, stretching, foam rolling, Epsom salt baths, I started seeing a chiropractor, a massage therapist, and an acupuncturist last January, and I saw them for 10 months, not really ever feeling any better, but just determined to feel better, to figure out something that will work. And now I know that I have Lyme disease and I can do something about it. So that kind of brings us up to today. I've seen 18 healers in the last 3 years trying to figure this out, and I finally know what's happening. Treating Lyme disease is tricky. We've already tried 1 course of antibiotics and my body could not handle them. I kept vomiting, so I'm not able to take the antibiotics that are normally used to kill these. Part of the problem is I also have the MTFHR mutation, which basically means my body's very sensitive to side effects from anything that I put into it, really. So we have to try something else. And with every different treatment comes different side effects, and also comes with the Lyme disease and the co-infections fighting back and manifesting new symptoms getting worse. So I need to take some time off of work. I'm taking time off of school as well to really focus on my body and heal. And figure out what will work to kill this infection before it gets any more out of control. It's in my heart, it's in my brain, it's in my eyes, it's in my nervous system, and I don't want it to get any worse. So that's what this GoFundMe is for. I took a look at the past few years and what it's cost me to have Lyme disease so far. And I thought I'd break it down for you guys so you get an idea of just how far-reaching the extent of Lyme disease is. I've worked all my life. I started working when I was 14. I've always paid for my own way. I've worked my way through getting 2 bachelor degrees and a master's degree, and I'm halfway done with my PhD. So keep that in mind. I've had to take 3 extra semesters of my dissertation proposal because I haven't been able to complete it, and that has cost me over $35,000 in student loans, extra on top of what I, have already accrued. I've spent over $2,000 on acupuncture, over $2,500 on massage therapy, over $1,100 on chiropractic care. I've spent over $1,500 on mental and spiritual health. That's seeing different therapists, different spiritual healers, trying alternative therapies and approaches, trying anything that I could think of to address the pain that I've been in. Over $3,000 on supplements. And for the Lyme disease testing, even though I was able to receive some donations and some funding towards the cost of that, it still has cost over $2,700 to pay for the doctor and the testing and the medications and the supplements that I'm taking right now. I've missed at least over $10,000 in wages not being able to work, and that's just going back to last summer. I've definitely missed out on a lot more work than that. Finally, I've racked up over $10,000 in credit card debt. I've been very reluctant to use credit cards to finance my healthcare, but I was so desperate to feel better that I was willing to put myself in debt to try to get myself healthy. So that brings me to why I am doing this GoFundMe. My family has helped me put this together, and they've really encouraged me to share my story and to ask for help. It's really hard when you've been able to work your entire adult life and pay for yourself and excel in school, and to have all of that taken away is a very, very traumatic experience. But I believe that I will be able to fight this. Prognosis is usually a couple years, 2 to 3 years, to really get your Lyme back under control. It's not something that can be cured. I'll have it for the rest of my life, and if I ever slip and don't take care of myself, I could have a relapse. So, however, as most of you know, I'm very, very dedicated to my health, and I've done a lot in the last 3 years to try to help myself feel better, and now I know even more about what I can do to heal and to kill this bacterial infection. So I'm asking for help and support so I can take some time off of work and find a treatment that works and give it some time to start to work. But my goals are to be back to work in a few months so I can be back in school in the fall. I do not want to take more than 1 semester off. My PhD is my dream, and it means everything to me, and I want to get back to that as soon as possible. Can't believe 3 years ago that I was running up mountains and I was traveling to Peru and Hungary. I was back and forth across this country several times. I was taking care of other people, and now I have to stop everything and take care of myself and ask for help. So thank you. Thank you for coming to my GoFundMe page and listening to my story, and maybe donating, but maybe at least sending some prayers and love. That would be so wonderful. I need all the support I can get. Speaking of support, I want to thank my friends and my family, especially my family who's helped me put together this GoFundMe page, my cousins and my aunt and my mom and my sisters. Thank you so much. And thank you to my partner, Rachel, who takes care of me every day. And I will continue to update you guys. There are a couple of other conditions that my doctor thinks that I might be experiencing, so we're running even more tests. But I just want everybody to know that I'm very optimistic, I'm very determined, and I am going to get better. And if there are any excess funds that I've raised that I don't need anymore, I will donate to Andrea's Lyme Aid Fund in New Hampshire, the foundation that helped me with the cost of the testing. They're a wonderful foundation. He's a wonderful boy who is kicking Lyme disease's butt at this very moment, and he's got this great foundation he started, and that's exactly where I would want any excess funds to go, to pay this kindness forward and help others. Thank you. Love you all.